Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another Lunch and Learn webinar series. I have let you in a few minutes early. We are going to be covering all things data and reporting today. And at the end, we have a bit of AI thrown in for good measure. Given that I've let you in a tiny bit early, I have started all of these webinars off with a question for you to put your responses in the chat, just to make sure that the chat is working. That picture on screen, I'd be interested to know what your holiday plans are. The weather is about to turn, I think, for the better. My friend Harry was looking at the weather forecast yesterday and getting rather giddy that it was a full week full of little sun icons. So the barbecue, I think, is going to be being used by him this weekend. What are your summer plans? Have you got any time off? Do you enjoy the heat wave? Do you prefer to be stuck in the office with air conditioning? Julia is going to Devon, Spain, and France. That is an amazing set of summer holidays. I am very jealous. Which is going to be your favourite, Julia? Let us know in the chat. For me, I don't have any summer plans yet. I've got some plans in September, October, and November. I'm not a huge fan of the heat, so I will go when it's much cooler. We have Tracy going to Orlando in August. Tracy, I've never been to Orlando. That sounds amazing. We have another. Julia's looking forward to Spain the most. A barbecue does sound nice. It does, Ali. We will invite ourselves to Harry's barbecue. Mark, you're absolutely right. We spend all the time moaning that it is raining, and then it becomes a tiny bit too hot, and we're moaning it's too hot. Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's no satisfying us Brits at all. Rory's going to Paris for the Olympics. Wow. Okay. I think that is so far taking the podium place as the best. What events are you going to see, Rory? Let us know. If you are joining us, don't worry. You have actually joined the right place. We are just having a bit of chat before we start at 12:30 about what your summer plans are in the chat. Rory's niece is swimming in the Olympics. Wow. Okay. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I think so far you have taken the podium place with the best summer plans. You can continue to chat in the chat room about your summer plans whilst I am talking to you on data and reporting. We have a jam-packed set of things that we want to cover. Some of you might have seen these features before, but I'm almost certain you won't have seen the last one. And I have deliberately kept the last one until the end to keep you here. So if you have seen the first couple of items, that is great, but please do stay to the end because I want to show you something really, really cool. And that is using AI for your data, and it won't cost you a penny. So my name is Jonathan Isaacs. I am Product Marketing Manager here at BigChange. I have been doing these Lunch and Learn webinar series for 6 weeks. They haven't been consecutive weeks, but I'm also hosting other webinars, and you might have seen me in the newsletter. We do have customers of BigChange. This is our primary audience, but if you are not a customer of BigChange, you are very welcome. BigChange is the all-in-one job management software. I am not going to sell you the platform here. These are the things that we do, and we do exceptionally well. Webinars is one of them. Hopefully your screen will look something like this. As we have seen, the chat room is open, and we have already learnt that Rory's niece is going to be competing in the Olympics. You can continue to chat in the chat room. If you like something, love something, are shocked at something, you can use the reactions. Don't raise your hand. It won't do anything. Don't put your usernames, passwords, bank details, or anything like that in the chat as well. Particularly the last item around AI, these are idea generating topics. So by all means, after today's session, when it is available on YouTube, grab yourself a coffee and spend 30 minutes playing with these things. You won't regret it. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/BigChange. BigChange. So let us start with the first topic. And it's not really a feature, but it's something that is exceptionally important. And that is the importance of good data, good, clean data. What do I mean by good, clean data? Well, to put it simply, data that is well structured, it uses the right type of data for its intended use. Now, this might sound a little technical, but it doesn't need to be. If we take a look at creating a worksheet question, the same applies for setting up custom fields across the system as well. But if we take a look at worksheet questions, you can see that there are various different types you can choose from. We've got yes, no questions, we've got decimals, we've got lists. Some of these may differ depending on the use, but it's important to choose the correct data field for the response that you're expecting. So let's use a very basic example. We're going to take the example of yes, no. Now, if I use the yes, no data type, the response that I can get from either the back office person or the engineer populating it is either yes or no. There's no room for error. But if that were to be a text box, it may sound simple, but I could have a yes with a capital Y. I could accidentally add two S's. It could all be lowercase. It could be anything. And that makes the data and reporting at the other end much, much harder to get useful information out because there's no consistency. With dates, it's even more complicated. So again, we have our date field. If we don't use the date field and we just have free text, what do I use? Do I use dots to separate the numbers? Do I have two digits for the year? Do I have 4 digits for the year? In fact, when I had a look, there were actually at least 48 ways of formatting the data. You could be an expert in all of these tips, but I'm going to show you a way in getting good, clean data out of the system so that you don't get a headache. So once we have good, clean data, we have the types of reports that we have. And there might be 2 different types of reports within our system that you have access to, and you might need to speak to the administrators of your account if you need access to the others. There are standard reports and dashboards. Dashboards is something that's relatively new. And if you navigate to the analytics and dashboards section across the top and you see the new business intelligence reports now available, it means you need to speak to your administrator to get a dashboard license. Really easy for them to do. They head over to administration, click on your username and click on edit and apply a license. Each account has a set of licenses, and if you need additional licenses, do reach out to your customer success representative or our support team, and they will guide you through how additional dashboards can be added to your site. We have available as standard a set of beautiful dashboards. In this case, I'm showing you the group job WIP report. It shows you the financial positions, margins, values by job category, stage of progress, which contacts have had the most financially rewarding jobs against them. It's absolutely brilliant, but it relies on good, clean data to go into the system in the first place. Hence, the first thing I started with was the importance of data formatting. There are some filters that you can apply. And you can apply any filter that you want. So this might be filtering it down to a specific group of customers or specific resources. And do not worry if you don't have as much information on dashboards as you would like. There is a full feature webinar that we did creatively entitled Deviled is in the dashboard. Scan the QR code or visit our YouTube channel to see that. We do have a question: can dashboards be linked to Power BI? We are going to be covering a section on DaaS in a few moments, of which you can link up to Power BI. So hold that thought. We also have a set of what we call standard reports. They use a slightly different type of technology, and on screen you can see the various different categories in bold and bullet points for each of the reports that we have. These are available on your site right now. Some of the particularly useful ones are job profitability, the timesheet report, sales opportunity, and then we have the tracking ones. The vehicle consumption and emission one does not get used as much as I would like it to get used, because 9 times out of 10, it doesn't show anything. The reason why is you need to populate fuel and CO2 emissions against your vehicles, and that can be very easily done. CO2 emissions are usually on the V5 document. But let's take a look at a timesheet worksheet report. This is what the timesheet worksheet report looks like. On the left-hand side, you have the ability to change filters on the display. And in the center of the screen, you have the answers to the worksheets. You can see here there is a section for each worksheet that has been completed, and we can change that selection to date, which will change the format ever so slightly, like this. With all of our standard reports, we have 3 options, or 2 options, I should say. The first one is the ability to export, and the third is the ability to schedule. When we click on export, any report that you have can be exported to at least 5 of those items. So PDF, Excel, email, Word, and an image. Some reports allow you to export to CSV. If it doesn't, you can export to Excel and then convert to CSV, and that will download the file. The third and final option is schedule. This is really important and really, really cool. If you want a report, for example, your timesheet report, to be in your inbox every single Friday afternoon for processing or Monday morning for processing, you can do that from this schedule. You can select the template that's used. It's going to be plain text in this example. And then I can set a period of time for this to go through. And I could say on the first Friday of every month or every Friday. It's entirely up to you. What we can also do is we can use this schedule by changing the email address to send reports directly to our customers on a regular basis. You might want to use a template to make it look a bit prettier, but you can do that. When you are sending reports to customers, particularly ones with lots of images, such as job card reports that contain multiple jobs, I would suggest you use the link with expiry date, because the files generated can be quite big, in fact are quite big, and so it might be rejected by one of the mailboxes. What happens if there isn't a report or dashboard available for the thing that you want? We have exports. In this example, we're going to look at job exports, but you'll see the little export button on a wide variety of items across our system. Because jobs has got 2 things I can export, jobs or job group template recurrences. I have another prompt. I will select jobs. I can select the format. We do have the option to use a blueprint, more on blueprints later. And then we have a format to choose from. And that gives us all of our standard fields. The challenge with this is it may contain information that we don't actually want, or we might have to change before we send it to our customers. So we're now going to have a look at how we change that. But actually, before we do, very important, exports, you don't want your data to get into the wrong hand. So you can, as you can see on screen, restrict who can and can't get exports out of the system. The last thing you want people to be able to do is download your entire contacts database or anything like that if their role does not require them to do so. So we talked about blueprints. What are blueprints? Blueprints are set up under administration, and they allow you to add to the export the things that you want. So I'm going to create an export that just contains the basic information that we want. Perhaps it's something that we need to send to a customer for them to mark off for security reasons when an engineers come and go. But I'm going to choose jobs, and this is an export blueprint. And then I can select from my columns the data that I want to include in the order that I want it to be included. So here we have some basic job details. It contains the name of the resource, it contains the job type, the arrival time, and so on and so forth. When I come back to my export dialog, I can now choose in the center of the screen the blueprint that I created. And we have a beautiful set of data just as we wanted it. We did have a question in the chat around dashboards linked to Power BI. And what we do offer is a service called Data and Reporting. Under Data and Reporting is called DaaS, Data as a Service. This is something that's relatively new. And we're going to do the full launch later this month, but you can sign up to it now. And what it is a way of combining your JobWatch data into an existing data warehouse along with all of your other data, and then layer on top of that data warehouse any analytics tool you may want. So that can include Power BI, Tableau, Pan Intelligence. There's a suite of tools out there. So if you are interested in data as a service, do let us know. And we will reach out to you. If you let us know in the chat, we will get your details and pass them on. We do have a bit more information on DaaS, so I'm going to endeavour to play a very short video on what it is. And this is actually featuring Alikia, who is in the chat, so I will play that now.
They say you can't manage what you can't measure. When it comes to business operations, actionable data guides you towards your most important goals. But getting access to accurate measures of productivity, job completion, SLA compliance, first-time fix can be costly and complex. That's where BigChange Data as Service, or DaaS, comes in. It's time to beat Pharaoh to endless struggle to get access to timely data in a workable format. With DaaS, large organizations are now in complete control, with direct access to their most important job data to use in their data warehouse. Imagine merging your field service data such as jobs, financials, and GPS location with your own data sources, crafting powerful visualizations that help you identify important trends faster. Built on top of AWS and Snowflake, DaaS lets you query vast datasets swiftly, efficiently, and anytime. Say goodbye to the time and cost of custom development and reporting work, and hello to rapidly available strategic insights that guide your business forward, all in a secure, scalable, and flexible environment. Your team can use the BI tools they're already familiar with, from Microsoft Power BI to Looker Studio or Snowsight. Plus, they will appreciate the support from our developer portal, Discord channel, and DaaS dictionary. If you're ready to embrace efficiency and harness the full potential of your business intelligence, talk to BigChange about data as service.
So there we have it. We do have DaaS available now, and it contains various different data marts or items that you can put into your data warehouse. Really, really powerful solution for those who are more data hungry. I did promise you something special, and this is using data and reporting with AI. Now, before I show you the cool stuff that I've done, there is a little word of warning. I highly recommend that you check with your data or compliance officers about your AI policy before doing this. They may have a say on which tools you should and should not use, as well as the data that you can and cannot upload. In this example, I'm going to use ChatGPT from OpenAI. Google does have its own version called Claude, and there may be, in fact, there are very many other items out there or software platforms that you can use, but I'm going to use ChatGPT. It's my personal favorite. So in our demonstration site, we have a set of jobs. I have just picked a selection of jobs at random that were completed. I'm going to export the full lot of data that I can see. I'm not going to use a blueprint, but I could if I wanted to. I'm going to download that now. Again, The data that you upload to your system, upload to AI, is entirely a matter for you and your compliance teams. You may be told to pull out financial information or customer data. The data that I have used is completely random. So within ChatGPT, I have uploaded that file and I've asked a very basic prompt. The prompt is: the attached Excel file contains information for jobs that have been completed, analyze the data and provide me with trends. Now, if I'm honest, that is not a very good prompt, or at least it could be improved. I could give it some guidance as to how the data is structured and the type of trends I want it to focus on, such as completion times. But it goes away and it does some stuff which looks cool. As you can see, it's starting to interpret the data. And then it comes back with this type of response. We'll take a look at the chart in a moment, but as you can see, it has already drawn out trends around the types of jobs, the category of jobs, and the yearly trends. Really, really powerful for something that the prompt wasn't particularly good. If you took more time creating the prompt, you would get a better response. Again, it's produced a chart. In reality, your chart would be much neater. This is all dummy data from our sales team. So there's a lot of job types which are probably fake and repeated. Your data would look a lot cleaner. But you can see there's a sharp peak in this month and there's a job category distribution. But it goes a bit further than that. I can interrogate the data. So I'm now going to ask a question. Which resource completed the most jobs? It does its thing. And down here you can see that Ellie did the most jobs within that period of time. He completed 47. Again, I can ask for more. I could say, well, all right, show me the total number, the top 10 most popular jobs and create me a chart on this. And here we go. We have a chart from the AI system created within a matter of moments. And that is just the tip of the iceberg of things that you can do with AI. There are things that you could do if you have custom fields in your contacts. Potentially, you could interrogate which sectors the predominant customer bases of yours. You could interrogate where your biggest customers are. So there's a huge amount of things that you can do with AI, and that is a very basic set of things that you can do. Let me know in the chat what tools you're using for AI and if you'd like to see a feature-length webinar on using AI with BigChange data. If we move on, that is the end of today's webinar. Before you go, I'm going to launch a poll. Please do fill this in before you go. We covered clean data. We covered how to export data. We covered blueprints. We covered the report types. We covered data as a service. And finally, we covered a very basic overview of AI and how it can be used. You can head over to our help site at support.bigchange.com and contact us if you need to, and the QR code is on screen. I am taking a small break from these lunch and learns, but we will be back in the autumn. We have completed 6 different topics. We've completed alerts, speedy shortcuts, the map, scheduling secrets, keeping your system secure. I do recommend you watch that. We have data and reporting completed today. So scan the QR code if you want to watch any of these on catch up, because like I said, I will be taking a break, but we will be back in autumn for Lunch and Learns series 2. Just because we're taking a break from Lunch and Learns, we are not stopping producing webinars. So if there's anything that you would like us to do between now and then, let us know in the chat. But we do have a feature-length webinar on templates next week. Do sign up to that. It is an hour in length, should not be missed, and that will cover everything on templates. We did do our Innovate webinar last week, and we showed a huge amount of functionality. The thing that we announced was, one of the things that we announced was BigChange Fuel. And this is something that can save your businesses thousands and thousands of pounds. And you might be thinking, sitting on this call, yeah, right. Well, we had someone drop into the chat, Mark Sutton, who's actually in today's chat, if it's the same Mark Sutton. He put something like this. So we did the math, and that's about a saving of £20,000 a year. So thank you very much, Mark, for letting us know on that. If you want to come and see us in person, we have growth events in August and September. 6th and 7th of August are the dates, and 3rd and 4th of September. Email louise.stone@bigchange.com. We would love to see you there. We also have the newsletter that is out, and we will be releasing the July newsletter coming out soon. We are well over time, which is as tradition. So I will endeavour to have a quick look through the chat and try and answer some questions. We did have a request for fuel. In fact, let me move this. I will stop sharing. Right, nothing like a live demo. So I am going off piste, and let's try and answer some of these questions. So Tracy asked, can I have some details on fuel? So let me share my screen. Tracy, can you see my BigChange screen? Let me know in the chat. Or someone let me know in the chat if you can see my BigChange screen. Fantastic. Okay, so click on the little hamburger icon in the top hand screen. It might look slightly different, but there will be a, not a hamburger, a 3x3 screen. Click on fuel. And that will take you to the BigChange fuel, where you can find out additional information on screen. Do read it. Talk to an expert, populate this form, and our partners over at Right Fuel Card Company will give you a call. They do have their number available somewhere on this site. If you do pick up the phone and speak to them directly, you must mention that you are customers of BigChange. Otherwise, you won't get the savings, and you'll be charged a £2 monthly card fee per card per month, which you don't get if you go through BigChange Fuel. So along with the fleet offering that we have, we also have fuel. What else did I see in the chat? Mark would like a webinar on AI. We'll see what we can do. Tracy would also like more information on webinars each day. Just scrolling up. There was a question on job cards. So let's have a look at the job card report. So what we have here, if I just run this, it is going to create job cards for all of the jobs that were completed for a period of time. In this case, we are going from the 18th to the 11th. But what we can do is, if I just type in Fitzwilliam, Fitzwilliam Enterprises, and search, we will now only get the job cards for Fitzwilliam Enterprises. Again, we can create a schedule. So I could say this was going to admin at fitzwilliamenterprises.inc. No idea, that's a fake email address. I could then say we want to send it in PDF. The date range that we want to cover is the previous 7 days, and we will send that weekly on a Monday. And we will include the link. We could use a template. I don't believe I have a template set up. Oh, no, I do. So it would use that template, and we'd email it after 12. We would schedule that, and then for the previous 7 days, every Monday, Fitzwilliam Enterprises Inc. would get an email with a link to download all of their job cards for the previous 7 days. So that is something that you can do, and you can save yourself a huge amount of time as well. Let's have a look. Was there anything else in the chat? Mark, is it possible to export 12 months of job cards in one go? No, unfortunately. That would be a huge amount of data for us to process. I don't know if it's possible for us to do it as a one-off exercise. Do contact support. They will be able to advise you if it is. It's a huge amount of data to pull out, depending on the number of jobs that you have and the job cards that you've got. So it's unlikely, but do speak to the CS team or support if you want to be sure. So I think that is pretty much it for today. Thank you very much if you have joined me on all of these Lunch and Learns. It has been an absolute pleasure to speak to you over these past 6 sessions. We will be back in the autumn, like I said. Let us know the topics that you would like us to cover. We will look to cover AI in the interim. And I will most likely speak to some of you next week as we cover templates. So thank you for your time and speak soon.